Good afternoon folks, thanks for tuning in to MobileWesterly.com. Today we're going to welcome the months of May and also June to see how things are shaping up for the United Kingdom. Before we start, why not get yourself a glass of coffee or perhaps something to eat, as this forecast will be between 5 and 10 minutes long. There are some technical areas in this forecast that do listen to me if we want to understand what's going on in this forecast. The first thing you're looking at today is the strength of blocking, and we have got this big anomaly here, well, this small anomaly coming up towards the next week period. Along the bottom here are the longitude lines. Well, if you do know a bit about geography, well, the United Kingdom is around 0 degrees of longitude, so that is the United Kingdom running along here. We go through towards next week. There is a hint here, perhaps further blocking across many parts of the country, this leading to trapped off areas of low pressure through next week. So looking at the current situation then, air low pressure across many parts of the country. But as we go through towards the next week period, we do bring air of high pressure towards the north, hinting at perhaps again the forecast from the CFS version 2 there of things turning more blocked out and air low pressure across many parts of the country, which means we will keep the showers through towards the end of next week. Looking at the forecast from the MGO, if you want to find out more about the MGO, all you've got to do is go through to Simon Keelan's very good site, weatherweb.net, and get through to the forecast there. You can find that on the UK weather forecast links page. The MGO, the Madden Julian oscillation, is just an oscillation throughout the globe of cool, wet, warm conditions, and warm, wet, and also dry, cool conditions across through the tropics. This is the forecaster's interpretation. Well, this is actually interpretation from the models for the forecasters, and the different phases here interpret different conditions across the globe. Phase 4 means basically quite wet conditions, cool conditions across the UK with a westerly flow. Phase 7 means we'll see blocked out conditions. And the current indication that we'll see westerly conditions for the next few days before going into phase 5 and 6 and heading straight into phase 7 with a higher risk of blocking, meaning that we'll keep those settled conditions. But as we go through towards the end of May, there is a risk here of perhaps seeing in more settled conditions blocking areas of high pressure moving into the country. Looking at that forecast for the end of May, then yes, there is. That's actually correct from the CFS there for the MGO. Sorry, from the East MWF for the MGO. We run the risk of seeing this area of high pressure coming in to many parts of the country, meaning that we probably will see more settled conditions through towards the end of May, with conditions perhaps turning much warmer as well. This is the forecast from the CFS version 2 for Manchester temperature. You do see there we have got this cool period currently, but we will pick temperatures up towards the end of May and into the start of June. So here, I think we do run the risk of seeing warmer conditions in towards the end of May. And then going on into June then, well, this is the forecast from the CFS version 2 for 700 millibar height anomalies, and we have run the risk of seeing a big area of high pressure towards the north of the country, with perhaps northern areas staying drier and the south staying cooler and wetter. Looking at the CFS version 2 forecast for 200 millibar, we do for June. We have got this big anomaly of high pressure out the northern areas of the country, with low pressure to the south, indicating that perhaps northern areas seeing the drier conditions. Looking at the CFS version 2 forecast for precipitation, low precipitation than normal across northern areas in Europe, with high precipitation across southern parts of Europe, indicating that the forecast of low pressure here. The British Isles is sort of under, not a bleak forecast, but quite insignificant signals here, so not many strong signals across the British Isles, indicating that the CFS wanting to bring in more westerly flow across the country as we go through towards the June period, with perhaps more settled conditions coming in, especially across northern areas of the country, and more settled conditions especially across southern parts of the country. Looking at the CFS version 2 forecast for temperature, well, there's not a lot we can do from this forecast. There's not a lot we can say. Perhaps just the indication there of cooler conditions across southern parts of Europe. Looking at the global chart from the CFS version 2 for June, well, perhaps we do run the risk of perhaps cooler conditions in southern parts of the country, with again more normal conditions out to the north and west of the country, with high pressure dominating here. And this is the forecast for the all-important day, the May bank holiday, when you're going to be outside in your garden sipping a cup of tea. Well, we do run the risk here of seeing extensive high pressure across many parts of the country. Looking back at the MJO, we do see that we go through towards phase 7, and if you can remember, I did say that phase 7 does indicate blocked out conditions, and the blocked out conditions are there on the forecast from the GFS for the end of May. We do run the risk of seeing high pressure across many parts of the country, with perhaps settled conditions, especially across northern and eastern parts of the country, with low pressure close to the south, meaning that we will be seeing more shower conditions here. So thanks for tuning into the forecast. I think if we just move over to the side here, I think overall the end of May will be picking up in temperature after this. So if you just look at the forecast there, the end of May will be picking up in temperature after. The end of May will be picking up in. Sorry about that, folks. The end of May will be picking up in temperature, especially from the 26th of May, with the current part of May. So running up through towards the 26th of May, probably going to start cool and unsettled. But by the time we go through towards the end of May, we do pick up in temperatures with becoming close by. And then go through to June, well, yeah, we do hint about this drop off in temperature, so perhaps cool conditions coming into many parts of June. I think June's going to be a month where we start off blocked off, and then we see more Mobile Westerly, we're seeing especially from the 6th to 8th of June, but there is a lot of uncertainty in the forecast will change. So thanks so much for being on the forecast. You can get all the forecasts by going through to castingthelewatcher.com, and you can find me on Twitter as well at castingmonster. Thanks very much for watching, and see you later.